Hey,
Billy.
morning, Poppy. All right, let's weem away.
Okay.
Weem away, weem away.
Judgment is but a toy, a whim away. The senseless means to play the idle game of death in your imagination. But vision sets all things right, bringing all things gently within the kindly sway of heaven's laws. What if you recognize this world of flesh born from egoic perception as a hallucination? What if you really understood you made this world of flesh born of egoic perception up? What if you realize that those who seem to walk about in this world of egoic perception to sin and die, attack and murder, and destroy themselves are wholly unreal? Could you have faith in what you see if you accepted this was a hallucination? And would you see the hallucination of this world of flesh born from egoic perception? In other words, when you're in a dream, it doesn't occur to you, it doesn't occur to the characters in the dream that they're in a dream.
But if you knew you were dreaming, would you mistake the dream for reality? Or would you just try and be blind and stay in the dream? I mean, I know we all kind of stay in the dream a little bit, but as soon as we know it's a dream and that it's a waste of time, it certainly behooves us to wake up and take care of the business in front of us if we can. Oh, I went off the rails there. Would you deny the truth so that you could pretend you actually lived in the dream? Would you attempt to choose to never reawaken to the truth that you are the Christ?
Hallucinations disappear. Hallucinations are recognized for what they are. This recognition that hallucinations are not real is the healing and the remedy. Believe them not, and hallucinations are gone. What you need to do is recognize that your little teeny tiny egoic little self did this. You are the dreamer. Once you accept the simple fact that you are the dreamer and take yourself and take unto yourself your higher self, the power you gave the dream, you are released from the hallucinations. One thing is sure, hallucinations serve a purpose. And when that purpose is no longer held, hallucinations disappear. Therefore, the question never is whether you want hallucinations, but always, do you want the purpose that hallucinations serve? This world seems to hold out many purposes, each different and with different values. Yet the world of hallucinations, purposes are all the same. The purpose of all hallucinations is the denial of the truth. Again, there is no order, only a seeming hierarchy of values.
This entire world of perception was made to bear false witness to the reality of separation. Although the correction of one illusion may appear to be more difficult than another, the solution is always the same. Look with Christ's vision, and the false illusion that was hiding reality fades away before the light of truth.
Only two purposes are possible, and one purpose is sin, and the other purpose is holiness. Nothing is in between sin and holiness, and which purpose you choose determines what you see. For what you see is merely how you elect to meet your goal's purpose. Hallucinations serve to meet the goal of madness. Hallucinations are the means by which the outside world, projected from within, adjusts to sin and seems to witness to the hallucination's reality. It still is true that nothing is without. Yet upon nothing are all projections made, for it is the projection that gives the nothing all the meaning that the projected hallucination holds.
Although hallucinations have no reality, it's our mind that gives them life. By believing in the hallucination, we make it seem real to us. It is our mind that makes our dream world of the provisional reality so real to us that it becomes our prison. It's the dreamer who alone can unlock the prison doors he created. Our mind becomes our own jailer in our imagined prison of limitation and separation. And we're both the prisoner and the guard in this situation. We've got the keys in our hand the whole time, but the guard can't leave the prison without the prisoner. You know, let him out.
Has no meaning, cannot be perceived, and meaning always looks within your mind to find itself, and then looks out. All meaning that you give the world outside must thus reflect the sight you saw within your mind, or better, if you saw at all, or merely judged against it, or merely judged against. This sight will be based on your mind's purpose. Vision is the means by which the Holy Spirit translates your nightmares into happy dreams. Your wild hallucinations that show you all the fearful outcomes of imagined sin into the calm and reassuring sights with which the Holy Spirit would replace the nightmares with happy dreams. These gentle sights and sounds are looked on happily and heard with joy. The happy dreams are the Holy Spirit's substitutes for all the terrifying sights and screaming sounds the ego's purpose brought to your horrified awareness. The happy dreams step away from sin, reminding you that it is not reality which frightens you, and that the errors which you egoically made can be corrected.
The Holy Spirit corrects our egoic misperception into correct perception. This realigns the experience to the Holy Spirit's purpose, which is the sonship's return to right mindedness, all of us together. The Holy Spirit tells us that God's Son cannot sin. Sin is impossible within the mind of God. What we perceive as sin is only a mistake that needs correction. No punishment is required, for we are sinless and guiltless. We need only choose again.
When you have looked on what seemed terrifying and seen it change to sights of loveliness and peace, when you have looked on scenes of violence and death and watched them change to quiet views of gardens under open skies with clear, life giving water running happily beside them in dancing brooks that never waste away, who need persuade you to accept the gift of vision? And after vision, who is there who would refuse, who could refuse what must come after vision? Think but an instant just on this. You can hold the holiness while Lee scrolls the paper. That God gave his son, and never need you think that there is something else for you to see but the holiness God gave his son.
The happy dream will draw us ever closer to the truth. When we have exchanged the egoic thought system for the Holy Spirit's, we will no longer desire the specialness of separation. We will only want to see God's creation as God created it, perfect, whole, and complete. God the Father will take the final step in the return to the sonship from the world of perception back to the knowledge of heaven.
You know, when you go through this book, especially with the extra clarity that Tom brings to it, there's a lot of things that seems like that why does he keep repeating this point or that point? The reason is that as you go around this whole thing to try and get the full picture, it's probably 100 facets. And in order to get the whole picture, you've got to get all those facets together. So some of them that you learned before need to come back in to make that picture whole, because he's trying to put together the whole picture for all of us to be able to see and comprehend and accept.
Yeah. Or you could also say there's maybe 10 diamonds here, or 10 silver bullets. And each of those has a set of facets, and you have to look at all the different facets just to get around the ego's confusion and fog that it lives in, to answer all the questions about each of these diamonds so that it's locked up and we don't have any way to talk ourselves out of it. That the illusion that we think we see with our eyes is really an illusion. The world that we see with our eyes is colored so much by our own ego that we don't see reality, the big R reality. We only see the little r reality. And we work through our small s selves, our lower selves, instead of our higher selves, our big S selves. So his clarity definitely helps me.
Yep. Okay. That's it for today.
All right. Have a great one, Papa.
You too. Bye.